Hello everybody, this is Javier Hernandez and welcome to Los Comics TV. So today we're going to take a look at this nice big thick volume here, Essential Incredible Hulk Volume 3. So I recently got these three in, Volume 4, and then of course, every couple of years they keep changing the dress trade, the format, so changed. So, but this is volume 5. I know it pisses off a lot of collectors. Like, okay, I can't ever have a complete, similar designed shelf of books, but whatever. I mean, I'm really buying it for the interior, not so much the package. But so anyway, this is volume 5, 4, and volume 3. So these essentials, just so you know, Marvel doesn't do them anymore, but they were these, like 500 plus page black and white collections of their classic stories. They did them black and white because it's cheaper to print it, and they're able to put in way more pages, right? Most trade paperbacks aren't 500 pages. Usually like 5 issues, 6 issues. It depends. But so they came up with this format years ago, and they just started printing their original, classic Silver Age line, all the first Spider-Man, the first Iron Man, Fantastic Four, whatever. So this is the Hulk Volume 3, covers Hulk 118 through 142, and Captain Marvel, a couple of issues, and Avengers 88. So yeah, last fall I started watching the old Hulk TV show. I got the Blu-rays, and I've just been nostalgic for the old Hulk show. And then I started thinking of, I wanted to go back and read some more Hulk comics. So what I'm actually doing, I'm in the middle of, believe it or not. This is the Red Hulk Saga. I don't know if there's too much glare there, but this is volume 4. It's a used copy. It's a library copy, I guess. But I got it really cheap. I think it was like $4. So I've been curious about this Red Hulk for the last, I guess, 10 years, whatever. So I decided, since I'm kind of deep diving into Hulk, I go, let me check out the Red Hulk Saga. So yeah, this is volume 4, which I'm about to start reading. It's modern comics. I don't read too many. But I was just intrigued by the concept for years, and I do like the art by Ed McGuinness, the main artist. He didn't do any of these issues. And I'm also in the middle of, I told you I'm deep diving. This is the Immortal Hulk. This is pretty current series, or it was. I think it ended with issue 50 just a month or two ago. But yeah, the last, 4 or 5 years, this has been running. This is volume 2. So I already read volume 1 of this. I'm kind of jumping back between Immortal Hulk and Red Hulk. So this is, some of you may know this story. But I'm in the middle of reading it. So, but also, like I said, I've been wanting to, I got nostalgic for some of the original Hulk stories. So I have Hulk. I don't have Hulk Volume 1 in this series, but I do have like early reprints of the Hulk. So I thought I'd start with Volume 3 because I've really been nostalgic to go back and look at some of the old art by Herb Trimpe. The late Herb Trimpe passed away in 2015. But he had a pretty long run on the Hulk for years and years. Like maybe 2 major runs, I think. So this, I believe, is the beginning of his Hulk work. So I'm just going to flip through it. Like I said, I just got it the other day. I only read one of the stories, so just jumped ahead. But this is the earliest. I'll show you later my earliest exposure to the Hulk. But these are from the probably mid '60s, 15 cents. Yeah, Herb Trimpe, one of the great artists, definitely Marvel artist primarily, and very well known for the Hulk. I mean, that might be his signature run. Although the man's done plenty of other work. He did the Godzilla comic at Marvel in the 70s, Shogun Warriors, and then so many other, just jumping around the different titles. But yeah, here he's inking himself. I mean, look at the treatment on the water. The other thing I love about these essential books, because they are black and white, they're almost like very inexpensive editions of those artist editions we've talked about on this channel. Those really large format books that they literally photograph the actual original comic page. So this isn't that. This is the actual black and white production art where it's all cleaned up. But what a great way to really study, especially in, like, looking through this book, Herb Trimpe's black and white artwork. When he inked himself on a lot of these books, and there's other times he had an inker. So we'll distinguish between there. But what I marvel at, especially now as the comic creator myself. Yeah, just like, you know, because most of my comics are black and white. I'll do color comics too, but like my main series El Muerto, as you know, is black and white. Like just to look at somebody else doing black and white, and it's like, wow. I mean, he knew this was going to be colored, but he doesn't leave any empty space, you know, and it's all detail, background detail, and just helps set the scene, tell the story. Yeah, the Hulk, one of the great characters. It's such a simple character, right? It's like this guy, when he gets angry, upset, he turns into this raging monster. Maximus. So yeah, I'm gonna go through here, and then I'm gonna get to the ones where when I was a kid, probably in the, I don't know, I was probably about 8 maybe, I don't know, a young kid, but my brother gave me his collection of comics, and that was my first exposure to comic books in general, just all comic books, and of course, you know, Marvel style, and then the Marvel characters. I had DC comics too, but even as a kid, something about the Marvel characters, maybe the artists, the particular artists working there. I mean, like Herb Trimpe, my gosh. Yeah, this is pencil ink by, this character, the Glob. It's a great Hulk villain. But what a great, oh man, what a great design. I just love the thick ink work, the shading. Yeah, I mean, this whole page is filled up. That whole image is just filled up. Either the background with the, I imagine these were colored maybe just one color, the plants in the back. We can look that up, but then the foreground detail, and then of course just the work on that character, the Glob. Just another one of these muck monsters, but this one's very like just dripping with moss and slime. You can tell by the downward strokes of the lines here. But I don't think so. I don't remember if I had this as a kid, because my brother had only bought comics, from what I could tell from the dates on the books he gave me, the ones I still have, like between 1970, maybe 69, but 70, 71. Like he had about a year or two he was really buying, and he bought a lot, because the stuff he gave me were piles of, you know, a year or so run on Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, the Hulk, Iron Man. So, but yeah, it's just fantastic work. I mean, again, back with the black and white, the spotting of the black, as they call it. This, I guess this is where the Glob first appears. Yeah, I love that. Look at that. Look at that effect. I mean, the Hulk back then, you know, they're very much, and the comics were written for younger audiences, obviously. They're almost like Saturday morning cartoons. Maybe have a little more angst in it sometimes, a little more melodrama. But as far as like the violence or profanity or sex and all that, yeah, you wouldn't find that in the comics. But they were just quick adventures, you know, especially with the Hulk. It was literally monster of the month, right? They introduce a new villain usually, or bring back an old one. But I guess this is the first appearance of this. I love this image here. Is that Betty Ross? I'm not sure if that's Betty. But he's grabbing this woman. I just love the size. The hand just like almost as big as her belly and her torso. But just the effect on the Glob here, I just love the way he draws that, how he executes that. This is nice too. The black silhouette, the black shading on the interior of the wall with the cracks showing through his white. And yeah, just some great Hulk. I mean, look at these two pages. How much black is on here, yet how much white is showing through. So, I mean, it's not muddy at all, no pun intended. This is one of my favorite images. Yeah, I may have shared this image years ago in a post, either the color comic or maybe I saw it online or something. But I don't know. I just love the shapes of the monsters and the way the Glob just looks great, and then the shadowing on the Hulk. Great monster fight. Yeah, when you're working on the Hulk, you really gotta draw certain different things, right? Like you would never draw a scene like this in Batman or the Flash, you know, because the Hulk's ripping off this big chunk of ground with the trees and everything falling over. So yeah, every character, at least certain characters, you're going to require you to draw certain things all the time. Like Daredevil, you better be really good at drawing cityscapes, alleys, rooftops, city scenes. Hulk, yeah, so many times you're out in the forest or the desert or the mountains or other planets. Yeah, this one, I think I had that as a reprint as a kid. I don't think my brother had that one. Look at the shape of the Hulk. It's almost like a big block. Yeah, he's whipping a train track. Yikes. I love this. We're lucky this was just a freight train with no passengers. Letting the audience know, the kids know, no, the Hulk did not kill innocent people. Just damaged a whole lot of property. Fantastic Four gets started here. Another great Hulk drawing. Like I said, this particular video is just more like just sharing the art with you. Having not read these stories, or the great bulk of these. Yeah, I do remember this story. It must have been a reprint. I want to get to the one that my brother got me. One of the ones my brother got me, which would be one of the first ones he ever bought. Actually, let's see something really quick. The arts. I wonder if there's an inker on here. It looks like there's a different inker, or an inker, I should say, as opposed to Trimpe doing it himself. Interesting, yeah. Herb Trimpe, we'll call him innovator here, with the added talents of Sal Buscema illustrator. That's interesting. I'm yeah, because I look at this stuff, it does look like Sal Buscema. I mean, a lot, heavily. Even the construction of the figures. I'm wondering if Herb did very loose layouts with the allowance that Sal could maybe redraw the figure how he wanted to. Because it definitely has, yeah, some of these have a Trimpe look, but I can see how a Sal inking over it. Where some of the figures look like they have that Sal Buscema staging. So yeah, this is really interesting. Especially the credit, calling them an innovator. I've never seen that. They usually refer to them as layout artists. If they're just literally doing like rough layout, just blocking out really quickly for placement and just the pacing of the story. But it's really neat. Yeah, it does definitely have a Sal Buscema vibe. Sal, of course, came and did another long run of the Hulk himself in the 70s, which was pretty much the Hulk I read as a kid when I'd go put my quarter down at the counter and buy it at 7-Eleven. It was Sal Buscema at that time running the Hulk art chores. Here's Herb just inking himself again. That's a wonderful portrait. Wow, look at the Absorbing Man. Wow, look at that. That's great. Pretty wild. Which, yeah, he had appeared, I'm pretty sure, right in the 60s already. One of the classic Hulk villains who, you could argue in the Hulk movie, the Ang Lee movie, which I, again, recently saw, they definitely based the David Banner character, Bruce's father, his abilities on the Absorbing Man. I think that's pretty definite. Look, X-Men fans, the Nightcrawler. An original Nightcrawler. I love this shot here. Again, it's just penciled ink by Herb, going up to this house very ominously. Looks like some devil worshipping stuff going on here. What type of cult demon stuff? It's kind of different for a Hulk comic. And then Doctor Strange shows up, not surprisingly. Here's Herb getting surrealistic here with the landscapes and such. And I guess that's where this Nightcrawler comes from. Kind of cool design. Oh wow, so negative. Interesting, look at this. It's all done in negative. I wonder if this is actually drawn normally and somehow it's back then photographed as a negative And then there'd be a lot of production work because then you have to put the war balloons over it in white. I mean, it's possible to draw like that, but boy, that'd be some really fine craftsmanship to figure that out. That's interesting. I wonder what the color book looks like if there's little shades of green where the white is. But boy, it looks great in black and white. Something I may have to steal or get influenced by for an issue of my comic in black and white, and then just make it a negative in Photoshop. But draw it normally, draw it in regular style. Doctor Strange. Mogul. Isn't there a Superman villain, Mongol? It's pretty close. Herb Trimpe inking it. Looks like Bruce Banner is absent-mindedly walking across the street. And he gets hit, but he's okay. He's okay because he turns to the Hulk. Yikes. Slams the car. Tyrannus, another classic Marvel villain. Classic meaning from that era. I mean, I don't think he's ever reached the heights yet of Red Skull or Magneto or Doctor Doom. But yeah, again, the wonderful art I mentioned earlier. Look how he fills up every page with detailed background and such. Phenomenal artist, craftsman. $128. I don't think my brother had this one. It's funny, he was an Avengers founding member, and now this new lineup of the Avengers is after him. Giant Man, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Vision, and the Black Panther. Some of these have gone on to become very famous movie characters, TV characters. Scarlet Witch, it's amazing to me, and the Vision, of course, Black Panther, the movie. They've all been in movies, these characters, or versions of them. Herb Trimpe on art chores again. Yeah, for me, this is worthwhile. This is the reason I bought the book. I wanted to get me a big chunk, a big run of the Herb Trimpe's early Hulk stories. So in that regard, this is a score. And you know, these are out of print. They've been out of print. They stopped the line, I think, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8. But there's enough floating out there where I don't think, you know, some of them are really high priced. Some of these back issues of these. I don't remember what this one was. It might have been $20 maybe. And this is in really good shape. I mean, the person who sold it, they were pretty much selling me. They said it was like a new, never read book. Maybe you can find a thrash copy at your thrift store or, you know, old local bookstore or whatever. So this, okay, here we go. This one I definitely, as a kid, was one of the ones my brother gave me in full color, right? This might be the earliest one because I didn't recognize these other ones from my childhood as far as what my brother gave me. So my brother had grabbed this one off the rack. I can see why. So the Glob returns. The Glob writhes again. That's a funny... writhe was that... What does writhe mean? Like a snake? Just kind of like wiggles. Anyway, that's a funny description. But boy, what a great panel. What a great explosive page. It's exciting if you're a kid. Like, whoa, the Hulk's getting knocked off this tower. Great job on the art, of course. The little cars, and he has a bunch of cars around like ambulances or fire department, police, little people down there. The slanted Hulk logo works really good with this composition, right? Because the slant on that girder and that one, and it just kind of adds the depth of it. But yeah, look at that meticulous work. I mean, look at all that. Look how far down he goes, where he's still got the detail on the girders. Oh my gosh! Oh, such fantastic work. The thick brushwork on the Glob and the Hulk. Yeah, I do remember this. As a kid, again, reading this, and it's like very War of the Worlds. It reminded me of Vacuum Cleaner, though. That bendable, I don't know what that is. A camera cockpit. It's like a hose. But yeah, this one takes me back. Oh, and the leader's retelling his origin. Chemical research plant. It's always an explosion, a lightning bolt, and I got these strange powers. So he's got He has a super brain. He's smarter than us, but he's evil. Wow, look at the God. Look at how. I hope you can tell how thick those lines are on this drawing of the Glob versus, say, some of these other ones. That's great. Banner hanging out down in the sewer. Where else would he hang out, right? Yeah, I remember this as a kid. He's thinking here. He's floating on a rafter in the sewer. Look at that big giant paw come up and smashes through the thing. And I love the head thrown back right there. The Glob. And he starts smashing the thing and he's swimming through all the gunk and junk. And he comes out as the Hulk, of course. That's great. And we're off to the fights. That's what we're here for. We put down our, my brother put his 15 cents down for to see a fight between the Glob and the Hulk, and that's what we're getting. God, look at that, picking up tankers. Damn. Oh, it's like he's coming out from this side. Yep. Oh, this is great. It's like a Godzilla film, but with smaller characters. Great use of a silhouette there in front of the fire. Super karate chop. Oh, man. I just love how he goes super thick on the inking on the Glob versus the Hulk. That's great. Yeah, we slowly make our way to the, that big tower. From my angle, it looked like the tower had a slope on it, which it'd be like a fisheye camera lens. That's kind of neat. But I'm looking at it from here. It looks like there's straight lines, but yeah, just the sense of the height. This is crazy, drawing all this, getting your ruler and just figuring out all the angles of the grids and which ones would be in silhouette, the ones behind. Oh my gosh. And he falls. Bam. Yeah, I reread this one because when he falls, the art shows he falls in this big explosion. The scripter's got to tell us that the structure, which houses a dozen delicate experimental dynamos and which was not designed to withstand the shattering impact of the hurtling ton-heavy Glob, the result, a deadly thunderous clap of an explosion. So that's why it blew up, kids, not just because he hit cement, but those dynamos, electric generators underneath. And I remember as a kid freaking out, or at least like, wow, he's still alive, right? The little appendages kind of moving like little inchworms. So then I guess this Captain Marvel probably came out at the same time, and I guess I think the Hulk shows up in it. So I guess for continuity's sake, I don't know if the story actually ties in. I'm assuming that, yeah, there's the Hulk. Not having read this, I don't know if the story ties in or they just put it in for the sake of, well, that's the Hulk's next appearance after that Glob episode. So that's fine either way. Gil Kane on art duties there. Very different style. I mean, you know what I mean? Herb's is very cartoony, kind of thickish figures. Gil Kane's is very, very dynamic. A lot of bend to them. The figures are very sinewy as far as their musculature. It's it's so wonderful that that Marvel era, you did have a huge variety of artists. Although they said there was a house style, but to me the house style was, well, you got to make sure it's got action. Doesn't mean every artist has to draw like the other artist. I mean, I think that's the best thing, where you have a variety of styles across all the books. And of course, the artist takes his own style over to Gil Kane. Will take it over when he goes to Spider-Man, if he worked on Thor or whatever. So yeah, my brother didn't have this one, so I didn't get it as a kid. Bruce Banner versus the Hulk. That's going to be fun to read. If I kill you, I die. Oh man, this is such a great page. Herb Trimpe he was a pilot too. I mean, he actually flew planes. I forgot where he lived, probably upstate New York. I think he had a little, I don't know, maybe a Cessna or a Piper or something, but he's a plane guy. But anyway, it's cool. Hulk jumping up and over and crashes through this Air Force jet. Wow. And you got to show the guys landing. Obviously, they got parachutes in there, but you have to make sure you show it so the Comics Code Authority doesn't, slap them with, hey, you can't kill those innocent pilots. And he lands and makes a giant crater. But yeah, Herb Trimpe just doing his stuff here. Iron Man shows up. Very cool. Oh, so now, yeah, John Severin. So Herb Trimpe is the artist, Roy Thomas the writer, Herb Trimpe artist, penciler. John Severin, embellisher. In other words, John Severin inked the book. All the black you see is from John's pen or brush. And John Severin was a legendary artist in his own right. Worked at EC Comics throughout the 50s. And I think some of the early issues of Mad Magazine. And of course, he went on to do plenty of comics, a lot of Western comics, sci-fi. And I think he had a long stint at Cracked Magazine, Mad Magazine's rival humor mag. But yeah, he did inking for Herb, and it just gives it a whole different look. I mean, look right away. We don't have that same slick, cartoony look. A little more detailed. You know, maybe more of the wrinkles. It gives it more of gives the Hulk more of a lived-in look. It's interesting what an inker can bring to the art, you know. And this is another Hulk ally, another young guy, Jim Wilson. I guess he replaced Rick Jones as far as, like, you know, just a young person hanging out with the Hulk. Teen sidekick type or a young sidekick. But, yeah, John Severin. Yeah, so it's Herb Trimpe penciling. So, I mean, Herb, it's all Herb's modeling or figure work, but the final embellishing, inking, the details would definitely be added by John Severin. Iron Man here in the city with a giant cannon. Well, right, Tony Stark did have a shady rep as an arms dealer at one point, arms manufacturer. The Hulk. So yeah, more Severin books, more Severin inking. The Hydra. Yeah, this is another one my brother had. I remember this one a lot. So I guess he lost the books. There was a gap between this and the previous one, the Glob, but or maybe he just, you know, he bought whatever he found when he found them. Because in the old days, you'd go. There wasn't comic shops. He would just buy these at the local market. I ended up buying them at the same markets or the 7-Elevens, whatever. And, you know, you would go every week or every couple of weeks, whatever, and you buy your latest books. Maybe he missed the times when the other books showed up. Or maybe he didn't want them. I should ask him now. I don't know if he'd remember. But whatever, I do remember this cover too. Hulk climbing up this fortress here. That's a nice page. And if I remember this story, yeah, he ends up in a foreign country. Hulk does, and oh, look, he's going aboard the ship. A nice silent page. Removes the crate opening, gets in there, and locks it up. So he's going to Morvania. So we assume that's probably Central Europe. And yeah, he gets caught up with this dictator. Yeah, here he is. It's Draxon. He's got a cool name. Draxon, the dictator. And yeah, I guess he destroys the... for once, he destroys the military that has to be destroyed, because I'm sure if he's a dictator, he's got the population under his thumb. So this one I think I read as a reprint, maybe in a Marvel Treasury in the 70s. But that's a great cover. The Golem, in the shadow of the Golem. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Okay. So he's probably still in Europe, right? From that previous adventure. Inker on this one is Sal Buscema. So switching it up from the previous. When I remember this, yeah, so this guy's telling the story of the Golem. Centuries ago in the city of Prague, as the grim serpent persecution reared its head in the land, our people hid in cellars and attacks, and the Rabbi Judah Lobai Bezalel breathed into life a body without a soul. Yeah, the story of the Golem from Jewish folklore being used here in this comic. If I remember the story, don't think the Golem ever shows up. Let's see if I get contradicted. I think the Hulk helps the people, and they attribute him as being the Golem or a Golem, or sent by the Golem. You were a Golem. Yeah, that's what it was. So yeah, it's like he freed the people by destroying the dictatorship. Oh, it's Draxon, so it's like part 2. Okay. And it's interesting, though, and the people looked at him as the Golem who saved them. Kang the Conqueror, who I think is, I understand, is becoming a big deal for the Scarlet Witch TV show. But yeah, this is, I think, Herb inking himself again. No, Cell inking him. But man, a lot of the herbiness is showing through here, though. Just like those thick, slick black lines. Yeah, I thought it was Herb Trimpe, actually. He inked it. It's interesting. Maybe Herb did tighter penciler, so then Sal just inked what's already there instead of having to add his own, Sal Busceminis to it. I'm just speeding through here just so we can get through the episode in a somewhat fairly quick time. So anyway, Abomination. So yeah, just wanted to share with you my some of these I remember reading as a kid in the 70s. There was a reprint title, I forgot what it was called, but it would reprint comics from the 60s and other, in this case, these Herb Trimpe Hulks. So, but the few of them were definitely the ones I read from my brother's collection, the actual original first print runs of the comics. But yeah, lovely to look at. I just love looking through these books, especially having like 500 pages just to sit there and go through. Like, just to enjoy the storytelling, enjoy the art. Really just taking in what I can from the art. Appreciating it as a fan, but learning from it as a comic book artist myself. And again, particularly as black and white, and I work in black and white, very helpful. Very daunting too. It's kind of like, wow. Always reminds you got to up your game, which is good. You always want to do that. But so yeah, I think that we'll just breeze through the rest of this stuff. The Brute That Should Love at the Heart of the Atom. Harlan Ellison strikes again. Yeah, Harlan Ellison, the great sci-fi writer, novelist. He wrote a couple of stories for Marvel, I guess Hulk comics. Maybe, I think he did a couple. Obviously, he did this one here. Stan Lee presents an epic-making event by Harlan Ellison story and Roy Thomas adaptation. Layouts by Herb Trimpe, art by Sam Granger. So I guess Ellison wrote like the outline of the story, and then it looks like Roy Thomas adaptation. He had to adapt it as a script for the artist to work from. So, but yeah, it's that's a major thing, getting like a major writer like that from outside of comics back then to work on a comic, and enough so that they slapped his name on the cover, which I believe Roy Thomas wrote, but that was him. Yeah, he was definitely the one wanting to highlight that, which I don't blame him. John Severin again. Trimpe Severin. Yeah, it really has a different look than just pure Trimpe. Quite lovely. So I think that's it. I mean, I'm just finishing it up here. They shoot Hulks, don't they? What is this one here? 142, the Valkyrie is back. Every male chauvinist pig in the world will tremble when he sees the Hulk hurled to his death by a woman. Wow. Imagine the kids reading this. The little boys like, wow, okay, watch out. The women can be just as badass as the men. Inspired by the book Radical Chick by Tom Wolfe. Wow, that's interesting. So Roy's very upfront, like, okay, this was inspired by this book. I don't know what this book is about by Tom Wolfe, Radical Chick, but I can imagine, right? Very, pro-feminist, women's lib. Remember, this is late 60s. Maybe you're by now, it's 1970. Women's lib type of book. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Roy getting a little social political there. Interesting. It was the late 60s, though. You got older, the young kids who were reading the Hulk and all the comics in the early 60s. They are older now, even though there's still new kids reading it. But I could see why they, some of the writers would move forward that way. But anyway, that's it. So that's that book. I don't know if I'm going to review the other essentials. Like I said, I just got these in, and I was just really excited looking at these, great stories, all the great work by Herb Trimpe. I just thought it'd be nice to share it on camera and talk about it. So that's it. So please subscribe to the channel if you made it this far. I know not everybody sticks to the end of the videos, according to my stats. But if you did make it this far, you must have enjoyed what's going on. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and click on the little bell icon, because that will get you notifications every time I put up a new episode. So thanks so much, and we will see you later.